Okay, so we have the PS Vita TV all hooked up and ready to go. It was actually very easy to set up, and one of the nice things about it is that even though you can only right now have a Japanese region PSN account, you can still set it up with an English language, and I'll even show you how to get to there if you don't set it up that way. As you can see, I've put everything into little folders, even games, so I can show you everything. So going into the apps, especially if you're familiar with the PS Vita, all you have to do is come down here and set it up to English. Now, this only works for the main menus. It doesn't work for all the menus, obviously, but it does allow you to a little bit of ease in using this. Now, instead of swiping, how that worked was I pressed the X button. Now, normally with a Vita, you just, kind of push it and it, pull off. But what you can do is actually push the X and that will swipe it off for you. Now, if you do change languages, it does kind of interrupt the network. So you just have to reset the network and it comes back with everything here. So let's give you a little look into what is possible with the PS Vita. Let's go first into the PlayStation Store. Now you can look at all the different things that you can download. Most of these things will work, but just to make sure, a lot of the things you'll want to look at on the PS Vita TV area, not the Vita and not the application area, because PS Vita TV tells you exactly what's available with the PS Vita TV, and these are all the games. You can go through them and find out which ones are accessible. Obviously, if it has this symbol over here, these two kana, then that means that it's free. So these will all work with the PS Vita. If you want to back out, the applications, this first area is mostly for television. Unfortunately, most of these are going to be pay services. Even though they say free, to actually play them, they're going to be a pay service, much like Netflix is. Hulu is also going to be a pay service, but I can't even access it. But I'll show you about that when we get to those areas. And then some of these applications are more of the, for Nico Nico, or for Radico, or Live Tweet, or even a book reader. Of course, I think that would be hard on the eyes, looking at a television screen to read your book. But it's there, so if you need it. Now, most of the PS Vita games are playable on PS Vita TV. Some of them are not. Go through this folder to find out which ones you can use and can't. Once again, avoid this applications. Most PSP games that are playable on the Vita can be played on the Vita TV. Same thing with old PS1 games, and you can actually, and PC Engine games as well. You can see all the games that you can play with the PC Engine right here. And you can go to a lot of the PS1 games that you can play. You have action games, fighting games, adventure games, RPGs, simulations, shooters, sports, racing, puzzle, board game or table games, and the etc. The ones that don't really fit into the others, like Gemalemi, LSD. Now to leave, all we'll do is we'll push the button here and then the X to swipe it off. Okay, so let's look at some of the Japanese TV. Once again, Hulu is pretty much region locked. You won't be able to play it without actually having a Japanese Hulu account and Japanese ISP. Some of these are pretty much all going to be pay per view. or pay services, paid subscriptions. With YouTube, YouTube won't even start. So it says that it cannot even be used with the PS Vita TVs, which is a shame. But if something won't work with the PS Vita TV, it'll tell you just like that. Otherwise, things like Radico actually needs you to be kind of local to use it, and Joy Sound as well. Let's go to some of the game demos. Not all game demos can be played. Even though this is a Vita title, you can't play it with the Vita TV. So that's a disappointment. But Rayman, you can. So let's take a look at some of these graphics for Rayman for the PS Vita TV. Missing all those goodies. There we go, that made up for it. You can see it scales up very nicely. I know this is kind of a little odd with the type of filming that I'm doing for this, but you get the idea, and it looks very nice and is very smooth. So let's show you one or two of the PlayStation 1 games. And like I said, all the PlayStation 1 games do play on the Vita TV. I haven't encountered one that hasn't. Oh god, I love that sound. Now, the graphics are going to be just as if you plugged in your PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 into a large screen TV. It's going to look a little choppy and blocky. You're not going to have the best graphics. But it plays very well. There's no slowdown. Umihara Kawase here. One of my favorite games. And as you can see, it plays extremely well on the Vita TV. The audio plays fantastic. But since it is an emulator, sometimes it does slow down a little bit, but it slows down in the parts that it would normally slow down on a PlayStation 1. So let's take a look at something else, one of the other games that's actually very quick, like Harmful Park. Okay, so plays very well. Not too bad with the graphics. Let's try PSP games. Now right away you'll be able to see that the graphics are a little fuzzy. Just a little bit. Some areas worse than others, but then again this is part of the scaling up. It looks better than the PS1 games, I'll tell you that right now, but that's what you get for putting a big screen TV, a small screen game onto a big screen TV. Sometimes you get really nice, I mean, they just look really good. Didn't mean to use my special move right there. Onward and upward. Let's try some more of the PSP games. Let's try Kamen Rider Forze. Here you can definitely see some of the pixelation around some of the lettering, around some of the graphic over here. Otherwise it looks pretty decent. So you get the idea there. Now what about Vita Games? Now we do have two games here. Million Arthur, which I've actually been playing on my cell phone, my Android, for quite some time. Really enjoying this game, but this uses a lot of the touchscreen. So let's show you how this works with a touchscreen. The upscaled graphics are beautiful. I tell you what, because I've been enjoying the graphics on the cell phone, but oh my goodness, this just looks fantastic compared. It's really crisp, really clear. For the touch screen, obviously some of them have little symbols that you can already use with this, but to actually use the touch screen, we're going to push on the left controller and we'll see our little finger pop up. We'll go to the area that we want and we push the circle button. So right now let's take a walk like you do in the game. And so we'll do that. We'll go over here. Yeah, the upgraded cards just look phenomenal. I know you can't tell because of the camera being in front of the TV, but they look really good. Well, so that's Million Arthur. Let's do one of the newer games. Well, not so much newer. It came out early last year. Boobage warning. Okay, so for Senran Kagura, you can see that once again the graphics have not been upscaled the best way. In fact, they're not the best looking here. let's just face it. But when you do go into an area that does use some of the upscaling, it actually doesn't look too bad. I would say about PS3 quality. Once again, it plays very quickly, true to the regular Vita, which I don't have, but I did borrow one from Jason Bowen, the person who actually donated the PS Vita TV to me. So this is actually very nice. It plays just like the game normally does. I have no problems with the speed or accuracy. Now, how about the video quality? Finally, I've downloaded a couple of trailers from the PlayStation Network store. And we've got one for the new Dragon Ball Z game and one for a different one. So let's see the Dragon Ball Z game. Graphics look really great. But then again, this is a video, so there really shouldn't be a problem with that. Alright, well, and I guess last but not least, let's go ahead and show you about Final Fantasy X as the HD remaster. I really want to show you all how it looks on this. Now, it came out very early in Japan, and it's actually going to be coming out soon in America and the US. And even just this part, you can tell this has been scaled up an awful lot. Redone, it looks sharp. Now let's get you into a little bit of the gameplay so you can see what that looks like. The waterfalls look fantastic. Yeah, the graphics are just really so nice. I mean, the PS2 looked really good, but this looks really good. If you're a fan of number 10, and I gotta say, I am a big fan of number 10. I really liked number 10. You should check this out. But we're not talking about Final Fantasy. We're actually talking about the Vita. Oh, shit. So now that you kind of get the idea for this, let's go over my final thoughts on the PS Vita. So, final thoughts. Let's actually go into some of the FAQs about it. There's a lot of misconceptions, so I'm going to tell you right off the bat, this is not region locked. Don't let people say that to you. It's not region locked. You've got an area here with the where you can put in carts, PS Vita carts. If it were region locked, you wouldn't be able to play American games on this, but you can play American games and Japanese games carts, so it's not region locked. It just doesn't have US support for the US and EU PSN accounts. In fact, it doesn't support any accounts except for Japanese, Malaysian, and I think from Singapore. So it supports 3 things right now. And the Malaysian and Singapore, those were updates. It just hasn't updated for US because it hasn't come out in the US markets yet, and it might not. So right now, it only does those 3 regions. When PS4 is released in Japan, I'll do an update and see how it works because it doesn't have PS4 compatibility yet either. Even though the PS4 has come out to the US, it doesn't have compatibility yet because it hasn't been updated because it doesn't have the Japanese PS4 in Japan yet. But come February 22nd, we're actually going to be doing a quick update and we'll show you and we'll see if it actually works because I've got a buddy, Jason Bowen, the guy who donated this. He's got a PS4 and I'm actually going to be going up to Denver, or he's going to come down here and we're going to try it out and see how well it works. It should work. We'll see. As far as the bad, because I usually tackle the bad things first. The touchscreen is awkward. The analog sticks work very well, and like I said in the video, when you use the touchscreen and you use the circle button, or you can also use the left and right second button and to do a touchscreen if you need to do both. For like Senran Kagura, there's a move and then you have to like touch the screen and pull away at the same time. You would do it that way. And that's how you would do it. But yeah, it's just a little awkward. PSP games are fuzzy looking, but that's just the upscaling. So it's not a problem. Japanese TV apps are all pay services like Netflix are, like Hulu Plus is. And from what I can get, Hulu is ISP blocked. It's just that I get the exact same symbols when I try it on my Wii U and my Japanese Wii. I just don't get anything. So It could be ISP blocked. That's what I get. So you can't play any of the Japanese things. So let's talk about the good things about it. It's great for importers. I can tell you what, if you want to play games on a big screen TV and maybe even record them with an HDMI cable and like a Hauppauge or something, then this is a great little thing. You can plug in your Japanese PSN account. You can play your games. They upscale slightly in certain ways, but it's a nice thing without having to have a small little handheld controller. You get to use your regular controller, and there is a way to link other controllers so that if there are multiple games, you can do that. It's a good system for importers, and for $100, $150 with the controller and everything, it's actually pretty darn reasonable. I've got my notes right up below my screen. It works with both the Japanese and US Vita game carts. You just plug it right into the side here, like I said, and it works with both regional carts, so it's region free once again. It works with all PSP games that the PS Vita works with, and you can download from the PS3 to the PS Vita. It works with all the PS1 games that the Vita works with. It's small, it's got great sound, HD graphics, it's wireless, it's super easy to travel with. Seriously, all the wires and except for maybe the power plug, you can take this and the wires, shove them in your pocket, take the power cord, and it's a travel video game system. Steambox. Somebody asked, is it as good, will it give the Steambox a run for its money? No, it won't. Because the Steambox is US, this is Japanese for the moment. So, having said all of that, do I think that this is worth it? For what it does, it's a good system, and I will see myself playing this an awful lot. Should you get it if you are an importer? Yeah, I think you should. This is a $100 PS Vita. You know, not all the Vita apps work with it, but that's okay. The Vita apps that don't work with it, you can get elsewhere. So you'd just be playing them on your PS3 or something. So yeah, it's not going to replace your PS3 or your PSP. It's just not. But if you play video games, if you record video games, import games and stuff like that, you can definitely benefit from having this. Should a regular American get the PS Vita TV? Until it comes out into America, no. This should not replace your Vita. So if you have a Vita, stay with it. If you don't have a Vita, until this comes out to America, I cannot recommend this. There's just not enough compatibility yet, and you can't watch your Netflix, you can't watch other things. You know, I've got a Roku, and I use that, and I use my PS Vita TV, but I don't use this as much as I do my PS3. I honestly don't. And I don't see this replacing any of your systems. So unless you're an importer, I cannot recommend this for you. There's over 600 PS1 games you can play. There's over 600 PSP games you can play. You can play almost every single downloadable PS Vita game, and it's region free, so you can play your US and Japanese games on there. The small card is a problem. The small memory card that it comes with, it's just an 8 gig. It should have come with more. It's a workhorse of a little system. I tell you what, it's got some great graphics, and the gameplay, the music is all top notch. So unless you're an importer, stay away. But if you're an importer, I'd suggest.